Dear listener, welcome to our New Life program on Adventist World Radio, the Voice of Hope. My name is Chilen Odhiambo. On our today's show, we're having a very interesting topic for you on the health segment, and we are asking, are you tied in knots? Maureen Opondo will be taking us through the program. Later on, we'll be having a Bible segment by Pastor Kigundu Ndwiga as he enlightens us more on the second part of Snares of Wealth. First, let us have a song, Joy to the World by Gracious Singers. Stay tuned.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let all receive again. Let every heart prepare in room. And then nature sing, and then nature sing, and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men the songs employ. What fields and flowers, from fields and plains. Repeat the song, repeat the song, repeat the song, no more sin and sorrow grow, no thorns in face the broad. He comes to make His blessings flow. For us the cause is found. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove that glories of His righteousness. And wonders of His love, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love. And let nature sing. Repeat the song in joy. For us, the cross is gone. And wonders of His love.
Welcome back. Let us give thanks to the Lord for His peace dwells in us. Let us learn more on how one can be tied in knots, and Maureen Opondo is here to share with us to expound more on the topic of discussion. Welcome, Maureen.
Hello, dear listener, and welcome to our today's topic. Are you tied in knots? Are you one of those people who feel that you're all tied up in knots? If you are, you have plenty of company, for a great number of people are suffering from this condition today. Let me tell you about one man who complained he was completely worn out. This poor fellow was tired when he got up in the morning, and he was tired when he went to bed at night. He felt tired when he worked, and he was just as tired when he did not work. It was evident that this man was wearing himself out over details, many of which hardly concerned him at all. Nothing that the family could ever do seemed to please him. He was far too particular about trivial things. Living with him was very difficult. In fact, it was getting to be almost unbearable. This man was only in his middle 30s. At a time when he should have been in his best, but all of his life he had endured that unhappy feeling as though he was constantly tied in knots. While he was talking, he just couldn't resist the urge to lean over and carefully straighten out the papers out on the desk. Everything around him had to be just so. He would blush without any reason and then break out into a cold sweat. Sometimes his mouth would go suddenly dry, or perhaps he should become tongue-tied. At other times, he would complain of severe headaches and gastric disturbances. He was sure that there was something seriously wrong with him. There was too. But it was quite different from what he had thought. This man was highly talented. He could have been a great success in life, but most of his energies were wasted on trivial things that really did not matter either to him or to anyone else. This poor man blamed all of his trouble onto what he called a bad stomach. If only one could cure his indigestion, he was sure that he would be an entirely new man. But the cure was not so easy to find. He had tried many different kinds of medicine, but they had all failed. Now he was determined to get his hands on some magic prescriptions that will cure him once and for all. Naturally, that prescription would have to control his gas and indigestion. It will also have to control his bad temper, as well as assuring him of 8 or 9 hours of restful sleep each night. It's amazing how much some people seem to expect from a bottle of medicine or a packet of pills. Now, although this poor man was having some trouble with his stomach, that was certainly not the cause of his illness. His stomach was merely the victim of his deep personality conflict. His trouble went far deeper than that. X-rayed pictures failed to show any ulcer of the stomach or bowels, but they did show the outlet of his stomach was greatly constricted. It was almost completely closed from spasms of smooth muscles in the walls of the stomach. This condition frequently occurred in people who are habitually tied in knots. To unfortunate people like this, life is one long dreary tangle. It is so easy for them to do and say the wrong things in their desire to please and win approval. They often go too far wearing themselves out over mere trifles, and yet, in spite of all their best efforts, they often fail to please. This is because they always have that hidden fear within themselves that whatever they do is bound to be wrong in the eyes of others. Such a pattern of thinking usually starts early in childhood. It springs from their never having been able to please one or the other of their parents. This is one of the unfortunate results of family favoritism. Truly, it is a tragedy when any child is made to feel that he is not wanted. Because those people lack confidence in themselves, they all too often miss the very goals for which they are so earnestly striving. This makes them clumsy and awkward and tense, just at the time when they ought to be relaxed and at ease. In their desire to succeed, they all likely put out far too much effort for the thing they are trying to do. This wears them out for no good reason at all. It makes them irritable and chronically tired. Their constant worries rob them of their normal sleep. They keep on unconsciously fighting their battle when they should be enjoying a quiet, restful sleep. Then in the morning, they wake up tired and exhausted. They have been literally working all night, only sleeping fitfully when one bout of anxiety and the next. Worry is likely to play strange tricks on all of us. It will affect not only the mind but also the body as well. Nervous tension is not a disease in itself, but it can certainly lead to a number of distressing physical conditions that are very annoying unless they are checked. Many of these conditions may seem to have no connection with the problem which a person may be facing, but deep down, we often find that undue worry is often the cause of the trouble. There is nothing abnormal about worrying. We all do it to some extent. If we didn't, we would soon cease to live. We must worry when real danger threatens our existence. It is certainly time to do a bit of worrying if we are about to be run over by a car or a train. A person who never worries over anything is just as abnormal as the one who worries all the time. Both ought to be classified as somewhat unbalanced, and both may need to be brought back to face reality. Many abnormal conditions spring from worry. One of the most common is muscular tension. People who are tied in knots often have their brows knitted together and their jaws set and rigid. One will think that they had to carry the responsibility for the whole world single-handedly. If you watch their hands, you'll see that they are tense and fidgety. They are likely to be chain smokers simply because they just have to be doing something with their fingers. The nicotine in the tobacco may temporarily calm their nerves, but it tends to aggravate their nervousness in the end. Excessive sweating is another nervous symptom frequently seen in those who are tied in knots. Perspiration may drip from their hands and feet or from under their arms. Nervous vomiting is another condition that may occur in those who are tied in knots. Instead of contracting and relaxing normally, as they should after a meal, the muscle of the stomach becomes tense and spastic. Under some special stress, the outlet of the stomach may be so tight that it may block all food, even fluids, from passing through. When this condition of stress goes on for hours, digestion stops completely and the food that has been eaten becomes putrid and foul. Vomiting will then frequently result. People who are subjected to this state of affairs should always have a complete X-ray study of their whole gastrointestinal system just to be sure that there is nothing more serious. In most cases, the trouble will be found to be due to chronic nervous tension. Fortunately, this can be helped by appropriate treatment. Constipation is another frequent problem to those who are habitually tied in knots. Mind has a great deal to do with how the bowels work. That is why it is so important to develop the habit of always being calm and relaxed. Under strong nervous tension, the bowel may feel at times as though it has been tied in knots, of course. This is not literally true, even though it may seem like that to the patient. But all cases of chronic constipation should be carefully investigated by a well-trained doctor. In many cases, it will be found that the trouble is due to nothing more than chronic nervous strain and anxiety. These can usually be relieved by a thorough understanding and adjustment of the situation at home or at work. How can one unravel these knots within himself? The most important thing in getting over such a problem is to recognize that it exists. Next, look for the cause. Many a person is carrying a grudge against the world simply because back in the days of his childhood, he was never accepted as a success, either at home or at school, and so lifelong habits of tension were unconsciously developed. Habits that may not be too easy to break now, but the effort is always worthwhile. Remember, you can never force yourself to relax no matter how hard you try. You must quietly ease the tension within your body and mind, and it will take some time to do this. Here are a few helpful hints on how you can relax. Start out with a sensible diet. Make it simple and wholesome. Learn to enjoy the natural foods, not those that are highly refined. Take plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables. Avoid all highly seasoned and devitalized foodstuffs. These may make you look fat, but they do not quieten your nerves, nor will they fortify your system against illness. Be sure to take plenty of rest. Arrange your activities so that you can have at least 8 to 9 hours of unbroken sleep every day. If possible, take a short nap in the afternoon. Try relaxing in a warm bath after a tiring day. Enjoy a good swim whenever possible. Exercise is essential to health. Learn how to breathe deeply. Walk outside in the garden among the things of nature. Walking in the fresh air is a real tonic. Rest is always more enjoyable after vigorous exercise. And when you go to bed, commit your life to God. Don't count sheep. Learn to say, "The Lord is my shepherd." Confidence and trust in God will do much to sort out all your difficulties. Such an attitude of mind will help you to untangle those knots in your life. It will help you to relax. It will bring you real peace of mind and body, so that in the end you will enjoy a life that is filled with satisfaction and true happiness.
Thank you, Maureen, for enlightening us more on this situation of being tied in knots. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write to us. Our postal address is Adventist World Radio, PO Box 42276, code 00100, Nairobi, Kenya. Our email address is awrnairobi@eku.adventist.org. We're taking a short break as we listen to this song, Marching to Zion, by Gracious Singers. Be blessed.
With the shout of the Lord, and let our joys be known. Join in our song with sweet accord. Join in our song with sweet accord. And thus around the throne, and thus around the throne, we march into Zion. Beautiful, beautiful Zion, we marching upwards to Zion, the beautiful city of God. Let those refuse to sin marching through in mindless front. We marching through in mindless front. To fair one north or night, to fair forth or night. We marching to Zion, beautiful, beautiful Zion. We marching upwards to Zion, the beautiful city of God.
It is now time for the Bible segment by Pastor Kigundu Ndwiga. Let us stay calm and listen to what he has in store for us.
Dear listener, today we continue looking at the snares of wealth. Wealth may bring unhappiness and anxiety. As a young boy, I read a story in the Reader's Digest that illustrates this point about wealth. The title of the story was A Sense of Values. Nathan Bond, a poor young soldier, marries a young lady and they have a happy marriage. After the war, he gets a job as a newspaper reporter and they struggle financially to make ends meet. Their marriage is happy and they are blessed with 2 children. It is a typical happy home until when Nathan discovers that he can draw cartoons for the newspapers and consequently makes a lot of money. What follows is pathetic. Long hours in the office, involvement in parties as he becomes a celebrity, drinking to socialize, little time with his children, and eventually unfaithfulness to his wife and a filing for a divorce from a broken-hearted wife. How true the above scenario is in many families. The coming of wealth brings unhappiness and anxiety. Dear listener, I want you to consider with me the following 5 testimonies of wealthy people in the U.S. John D. Rockefeller said, "I have made many millions, but they have brought me no happiness." W.H. Vanderbilt said, "The care of $200 million is enough to kill anyone. There is no pleasure in it." John Jacob Astor said, "I am the most miserable man on earth." Henry Ford said, "I was happier when doing a mechanic's job." Andrew Carnegie said, "Millionaires seldom smile." The uncertainty and insecurity of material things make materialism the mother of all uncertainties. That is why Christ advised in Matthew 6 verse 19 to 24 about investing our treasures in heaven was followed immediately by admonition not to worry about material things in Matthew 6 verse 25 to 34. People lay up treasures on earth not only because of greed and covetousness and selfishness, but also because of fear, insecurity, and anxiety about what the future holds. Unfortunately, putting our hopes on earthly treasure does not minimize anxiety, but multiplies it because earthly treasures are so uncertain. Tony Campolo, a professor of sociology in Eastern University in Pennsylvania, told a story in a sermon that illustrates this point. A certain man was traveling by train in India on a 3-day journey. Out of fear for thieves, he clutched his luggage tightly to his chest as he sat. He kept fighting sleep so as to protect his bag. After some time, he lost his fight against sleep and fell into a heavy slumber. Unfortunately, while he slept, thieves stole his luggage. When he woke up and discovered that his luggage had been stolen, he really panicked, but after realizing there was nothing he could do, he relaxed and slept soundly. It is true, wealth makes us anxious like that Indian, as we fear we may lose it. We should adopt the stance of John Wesley when he was told that one of his buildings had burned down. He said, well, that is one burden less for me." Wealth may end in ultimate meaninglessness. Unfortunately, we live in a society that makes the pursuit of wealth the goal of life. Many of us are led to believe that the ultimate purpose of life is to make money and to amass wealth. However, many of us will discover too late that what we have spent all our lives, energy and efforts and creativities pursuing has no substance. It is nothing more than chasing the wind, a mirage in the desert. Like Solomon, we'll discover that the pursuit of wealth for its own sake is foolishness of the greatest order. Too late, like Solomon, we'll be forced to confess, "Yet when I surveyed all that my hands had done, and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Nothing was gained under the sun." Ecclesiastes 2, verse 11. Wealth will be meaningless to us on the day of judgment. It will not get us out of the hook. John Piper, in his book Desiring God, page 156, describes the futility of health when it comes to the day of judgment. This is what he says: "How absurd and tragic the love of money will seem on that day, like a man who spends his whole life collecting train tickets and in the end is so weighed by the collection that he misses the train." Wealth often leads to pride and elitism. The tragic thing about wealth is that after acquiring it, we start thinking we are better and smarter than those who do not have it. We forget the advice of Moses to the Israelites in Deuteronomy 8 verse 18 when he says, "But remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the ability to make wealth and so confirms his covenant, which he swore to your forefathers as it is this day." How much like King Herod we are, who rather than giving God the glory for his God-given abilities sought to take that glory for himself. The story in Acts 12 is very clear about the outcome of trying to take credit for God-given abilities. It says, "Immediately, because Herod did not give praise to God, an angel of the Lord struck him down, and he was eaten by worms and died." Acts 12 verse 23. Dear listener, are you giving glory to God for your prosperity, or are you taking all credit for yourself?
That was an interesting segment on the second part of Snares of Wealth by Pastor Kigundu Ndwiga. For suggestions, comments, or requests on more interesting topics, kindly write to Adventist World Radio, P.O. Box 42276, code 00100, Nairobi, Kenya. Or you can send to us an email address through awrnairobi@eku.adventist.org. And until next time, God bless you. I have been your host, Tileno Diambo.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let all receive a King. Let every heart prepare him room. And then the nature sing, and then the nature sing, and then the nature sing. Joy to the heart, the Savior reigns. Let men the songs employ. What fields and flowers from fields and plains. Repeat the song, repeat the song, repeat the song, repeat the song in joy. No more the sin and sorrow grow. No thorns in face abroad. He comes to make his blessings flow. For us the cause is gone. For us the cause is gone. Here goes the one with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness. And wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love. And then For us, the cross is gone. And one more